Welcome to the Copper King Mine and Railroad. Today we're going to talk about the Garfield Smelter. So, stay tuned. Kind of noisy, isn't it?
We're just going to spend a moment here at the Copper King Mine, and we're going to go over and take a look at the Garfield Smelter. So, we're going to talk about the Garfield Smelter today. Now, these old pictures of the smelter was taken in 1905. Now, this was even before open cut mining at Bingham started, so they must have had an idea that it was going to be successful. The backing behind this, the money backing behind this, was by the Guggenheims. Now, Meyer calculated that the smelter made more than twice as much for processing as the mine did in mining. So they got into the smelter business. His son, Daniel, was instrumental in starting the American Smelting and Refining Company, and that's Asargo. Now look at these great old pictures of them building this smelter out here. It will be the biggest copper smelter in the world. It cost $3 million to build back in 1905, 1906. And it was ready to handle 3,000 tons of concentrate a day. Look at these great panoramic shots of the smelter right here. This is a overhead picture of it. Now this smelter was built it was called Kessler Canyon at the north end of the Ochre Mountains, right next to the Great Salt Lake. See these great old pictures. Now look at these. This is the little communities around it. Now they had some different names for it, and I'm not sure which one is right. They had names like Slag Town, Rag Town, and Smelter Town. But they had its own little community where they was building this smelter up, and then after it was built, where they lived to run the smelter. Look at these pictures right here where they're bringing all the material, and they got all the material stacked right here to work on the smelter. That's kind of neat. Then later on, they had this stack right here. We got pictures of this old smokestack, and it wasn't in use for a long time. And so in 1934, they decided to take it down, and they dynamited it and blew it up and took it down. So that's the pictures you're seeing of here. This old December 18th, 1934, the smelter stack comes down. Here's some great inside pictures of them working in the smelter. What a hard life that one must have been, to work in the heat of a smelter like that. And it probably still is. They say they're kind of a different kind of breed of people to work at the smelter. Then we have some pictures of the slag dump, and they used to take these ladles and have a ladle train, and they'd bring them out and dump the slag over the mountain. That was always a fun thing to watch. And they dumped this at night. This orange slag would come off and make these great big slag mountains out here. Now this slag would eventually they would grind it up and use it for ballast for the railroads. Look at the size of this slag dump right here now. If you drive past here now, the slag's all gone. They started to reprocess all the slag, so there's no more slag what they dump in it anymore. They've changed all that. There's an old slag train right here. See, motor, and then here's some neat old pictures, postcard pictures of the smelter. And then this is kind of cool. This is in 1944, when they were short on men during World War II, they had women working out the smelter and a few women crews. And then this smelter was right on U.S. Highway 80, Interstate Highway 80. But before it was 80, it was the Lincoln Highway. And so look at this. This is a 1935 picture of the Lincoln Highway with the smelter in the background. And then we come up to 1958, and it's about the same spot in the Lincoln Highway and the smelter in the background. So that's pretty cool. There's been 4 smelters in this location. They keep rebuilding it and improving it every time. It was first coal-fired. Then in 1930, they converted to natural gas. And the Guggenheims, they had a 20-year contract with Utah Copper for $6 million. It was the biggest contract in history up to that time. Then on January 2nd, 1959, Kennecott purchased the smelter. In 1974, they did another rebuild of the smelter. And part of that rebuild, they built this great big tall smokestack, 1,215 feet tall. It's the tallest freestanding structure west of the Mississippi and the 4th tallest in the world. It's number 43 of the tallest freestanding structures on Earth. The base alone took 10,000 yards of cement in a 2-day continuous pour of the concrete. So see these pictures of this stack. We've got one inside the stack and one right up the side of it. You see how tall this thing is. Some great old pictures. Here's some with some elk by it. Then we got the famous photographer James Belmont, who does a lot of train photos, and he's got it in the background of these pictures right here. Some of James Belmont, great pictures of the smokestack right there. Then we got some pictures over time of the smelter, and we'll show you. Here's one 1905, 1906. Here's some 1912, 1913. A couple of pictures, 1913, 1935, 1936, 1938. Here's some 39s, 1946. About 3 or 4 pictures of 1946. Here's one, 1948, 1959. Then we jump up to 1978. The stack was done. Here's a 2020 as it looks today. I went to the smelter today, it's December 20th, 2020, to take a look around here and take a few pictures. So it's still going. The startup date, I guess I should say the fire up date, was August 1906. So 114 years and this area is still smelting ore. I have this older book, it's called The Richest Hole on Earth. Well, it was a monograph series from USU, Utah State University. But it had some numbers on here. In 1962, the smelter produced 420,750,000 pounds of copper. In 1962, they did 20,343 pounds of molybdenite. The records for gold production and silver production only went as far as 1937. So in 1937, they produced 1,720 ounces of silver and 196,542 ounces of gold. And that's 1937, and over time they've got a lot better at processing these minerals. And there's a lot more other minerals there too, just traces of them. So that's the Garfield Smelter, still in production, December 2020.